Well, good morning, everyone. How we doing?
Pretty good.
We warm enough in here? I walked into the theater and I was hit with a blast of warm air, which it feels good on a day, week, month, year, like the year we've been having. Well, hey, I am very excited to be here this morning. 2 weeks off because of snow. I had a few people who were messaging me earlier in the week. They're like, Dave, don't look at the forecast. And by about midweek, it looked like the storm went out to sea. So luckily, we did not have 3 weeks off in a row, which just would have been like 2 weeks is bad enough. But I will say, for everyone who joined us last week on Zoom, I mean, what a blast we had. And I feel like we're going to tip the ship here this morning because we are top heavy on this side over here. Okay. It's like, what's going on? We're parting the Red Sea or something like that over here. But it was a blast just hanging out, talking about snow day activities, movies, books. I think we came up with the idea that maybe we need to start an Awaken book club as a result of our Zoom meeting last week. So that's something that I know, I think a few of you are. Okay, so Mary says that they're on it. Yeah, next time we have snow, make sure you join us on Zoom or whatever we end up doing. I was actually trying to figure out what we would do, but luckily we didn't get there, and we're in person, and we have a sermon today, and the sermon is also going to work as our annual meeting. And typically what an annual meeting is, we look back at 2025, the year that we have just emerged from, and look at some of the highlights, the things that we have celebrated. And then we're going to look ahead at this year, and what do we expect? What do we hope for? What are we praying for in 2026? And I titled this sermon, What We're Building Together. And if you have your Bibles, you can turn to Romans chapter 16. And I am going to attempt for you in the next couple of minutes here to pronounce some ancient names that are quite difficult to pronounce. So please offer me some grace. I did go through the Greek earlier this week and again this morning, just going over the names. But my goodness, I think there's a reason why these names are no longer in circulation. It's hard. I mean, you get some of those weird names like Apple Puff or whatever. I mean, teachers, you know, right? You get those weird names. And then you get the ones that you're trying to pronounce and you're like, oh my goodness, could their parents have named them Matt or Bob or something much easier? Well, hey, we have a whole bunch of names here that we are going to read through. And there's a reason why I want to read these very, very ancient and difficult names. This section of the Bible, this chapter, is a chapter that normally you probably skip. If you're doing a devotion, if you're doing a Bible study, this might be one of the passages that you just kind of breeze right through. Okay, a whole bunch of names. Why do they matter? It's like the genealogies. You're like, really, your eyes start glazing over another name after another name. Well, here we are. And I want to explain a little bit after we read these names why this is so important. This is Paul at the end of his letter to the church in Rome. He ends his letter this way. I commend to you our sister Phoebe, a deacon of the church in Cenchrea. I ask you to receive her in the Lord in a way worthy of his people and to give her any help she may need from you, for she has been the benefactor of many people, including me. Now greet Priscilla and Aquila, my co-workers in Christ Jesus. They risked their lives for me. Not only I, but all of the churches of the Gentiles are grateful to them. Greet also the church that meets at their house. Greet my dear friend Epinetus, who was the first convert to Christ in the province of Asia. Greet Mary. We have a few Marys here, so maybe he's speaking to you, all right? Mary gave a shout out back there. Greet Mary. She worked very hard for you. Greet Andronicus and Unia, my fellow Jews who have been in prison with me. They're outstanding among the apostles, and they were in Christ before I was. Greet Ampliatus, my dear friend in the Lord. Greet Urbanus, our co-worker in Christ, and you all know my dear friend Stachys. Greet Apelles, whose fidelity to Christ has stood the test. Greet those who belong to the household of Aristobulus. Greet Herodian, my fellow Jew. Greet those in the household of Narcissus, who are in the Lord. Greet Tryphena and Tryphosa. It sounds like a WWE wrestling duo right there. And in this corner, we have Tryphena and Tryphosa, the defending champions. They're those women who work hard in the Lord. Greet my dear friend Persis, another woman who has worked very hard in the Lord. Greet Rufus, chosen in the Lord, and his mother, who has been a mother to me too. Greet Asyncritus, Phlegon, Hermes, Patrobas, Hermas, and the other brothers and sisters with them. Greet Philogus, Julia, Nereus, and his sister, and Olympus, and all the Lord's people who are with them. How'd I do? Thank you. All right. Yes, I'll be in the back later. Now, Paul mentions 29 specific individuals in these, 15 verses here. 29 individuals, 27 by name, and then a whole host of other brothers. There's actually mentions the sisters as well. So brothers, sisters, saints, households, churches. Paul mentions a whole lot of people at the end of the letter to Rome. Who are these people? They're ministry partners. They're friends. Some of them he referred to as my dear friend. These are people who are near and dear to his heart, and they're all together working for a common goal. And one other thing to note here, I don't have a slide for this, but if you notice, there's quite a few women in leadership positions that Paul is mentioning. At Awaken, we affirm women in leadership, and anyone who tells you otherwise does not read the Bible well. Because there are a whole bunch of women that Paul says, these are my co-workers. Greet them, honor them, respect them. So anyone who is looking at women in leadership and trying to distort the Bible, they need to relearn how to read the Bible. Now, why are all these names in the Bible? Why do they show up here in Romans 16? Because everyone matters. And everyone has a role to play. Often it's Paul who gets all the hype. It's Paul that we all know. He's famous. We know him. He's written these letters. He travels the world. But what Paul is saying, he's like, hey, it's not just all about me. If it weren't for these people, all these others who have worked hard for you, who have invested their lives in spreading the gospel, the message of Jesus, well, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. If it weren't for my coworkers and my dear friends, the people that I'm in the trenches with, if it weren't for them, I'd be nothing. So what he's doing is he's honoring and respecting all those who are with him and assisting him and making his work possible. Now, let's talk about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Longest credits in movie history. Anyone have any idea how long those end credits are? Not even halfway there, Mary. Mary guessed 12. Do we have a second guess here? All right, a little under that, Elle. You're getting a little too ambitious here. 26. All right, Mary is like close to it here. 27 minutes. But I think actually Price is right. If you come in under, you actually win, right? So I think Mary is our contestant, our new winner on guess the end credits length of Return of the King. So 27 minutes. Now, end credits. How many of you are like me? The movie ends, the credits come on, and you're out the door. I have a friend that I'll go to the movies with, and he's always, whenever the credits start, he always grabs his phone and he Googles, does such and such, like we saw Avatar together, does Avatar 3 have an end credit scene? Okay, nope, we're out the door. We're out of here. So unless there's an end credit scene, normally, like, you stop the movie at that point. Or if I'm looking at a movie length online or a TV show, it might say, okay, this movie is going to be 54 minutes. I always calculate it. There's probably like 4 or 5 minutes of credits. So it's really not 54 minutes in length. It's probably about 48 minutes or so in length. Like, I don't watch the credits. But the credits are very, very important. And what the credits do is they list everyone who is involved in making that movie, that TV show, that production, whatever it happens to be, possible. If it were not for all of these people that are being listed, that are rolling through over here, well, then the movie would no longer be possible. So everyone who plays a part, no matter how small of a role they have played in it, is listed. They're honored. They're given respect for their role that they have played in making that movie possible. So when you get to Return of the King, obviously there's quite a few people who were involved in making Return of the King the epic movie that it is. Lord of the Rings fans in here? Okay, it was like 6 of us. That's it. Now, let's go back to Romans 16. By listing all these individuals, Paul is saying, my work, the spreading of the gospel, would not be possible without their help. And instead of just saying, everyone else who worked alongside me, thank you so much for everything you've done, he's actually acknowledging people by name, which you all know how that feels. It's nice to be recognized by your name. When someone's like, hey, thank you, Ray, for what you've done. It's so much better than thank you for helping. So to show up in one of Paul's letters, you're like, yeah, wow, Paul really thinks highly of me. And Paul really does seem to believe that if it weren't for me and my investment, that this whole thing that we're doing together wouldn't be possible. The weight of that is enormous and so honoring and affirming. And I would argue it's the same with church today. What's happening in Romans 16 is the same way in which a church operates. A couple of years back, I had to take a forced sabbatical for a while. Some of you were a part of Awaken at that time. I didn't necessarily want to do it, but I knew it was the best for my health, the health of my family, and honestly, the health of the church. And as I was processing through, okay, what does this mean? Can I do this? Can I actually stop and not show up at church for 2 months and not speak and have other people carry the weight of it? I had a wise mentor. He said to me, well, if the church falls apart while you're gone, then it wasn't a church in the first place, right? And for me, that wisdom, it was like this burden was just removed from me. For so long, I was carrying this weight, thinking it was all about me, about what I could do, how I could be the glue that would hold everything together. And then this outside voice comes speaking into this situation where I found myself, where I was wondering, will the church still exist anymore? Well, hey, if it's not there, then it wasn't a church to begin with, because the church is more than just one person. And here's what this tells me. This is what church is not. It's not a building. We can meet anywhere. We can meet in a movie theater. We can meet in an event space. We can meet across the Sawmill at Life the Place to Be, where we were for the 6 months before that in what I don't even know, banquet hall. I don't know what that was. The church is not a building. The church is also not the pastor. It's not me. It's not even, we don't have a worship team, but it's not the worship team individual that's there. Oftentimes these are the ministry positions that get highlighted. Well, there's the pastor. Well, there's the worship leader. And yes, but that's not what church is. And church also is not simply a 501c3. It's not an organization. I have someone, he'll often say, whenever people come up to me and they say, I was hurt by the church, he's like, no, you weren't. He's like, give me a name. You aren't hurt by the organization, the institution. You were hurt by individuals. So church, it's not a building. It's not the pastor, the worship team. It's not an organization. A church is this. This is my definition of church. A group of people intentionally committing to each other in order to grow and encourage each other in their journey of following Jesus. That's what we're doing here together on Sunday mornings. That's what we do when we gather at Debbie's, that community group, on Wednesday evenings. Instead of going through the list, because I could rattle off a whole bunch of different things that we do here, I thought the best way to illustrate what a church looks like is to have some highlights from the past year and to bring some of you up to talk about those highlights. So what I want to do here is I want to take a look back and I want to take a look ahead and I want to celebrate where we've been over the past year. And I'll say this, 2025 You know how it takes about a month or so to actually get into the year? You're still writing 25 on all your documents. I think I'm finally over that hump. I'm finally in 2026, but it takes a while to get there. And with the snow, I could be in 2024. I could have reverted back the other way. I'm not sure where I am. But 2025 was the first year for Awaken that we were our own fully non-denominational church. Huge thing to celebrate. We made it through a year, and here we are in our second year. That was a huge step for us. End of 2024, jumping into 2025. So that is one thing for us to celebrate. And then here are a few other ones. And with this, we will start bringing a few people up to talk about these events. First up, let's talk about the women's lunch that we had last year. And we do have some pictures.
Good morning. I'm Mary, and women's lunch. So started out, I guess, in 24. We ended up doing one, and this is our fourth one. And we are so excited. We come together. We try to be a little formal. It never ends up being formal. It's just a bunch of women sitting around, having a great time, and just being in a community. We have good food. We play some games. We learn something new about each other, which is really awesome. So I know it was mentioned earlier today that we have one today. If you haven't RSVP'd, please come anyway. We'd love to have you. And if you have any questions about how we can do them in the future, any ideas you have, come see us. We're open and welcome. Thank you.
Well, then we didn't want the women just to have all the fun. Last year, for the first time, we had our men's gathering at the Candlelight Inn. Where is that? It's that Hartsdale, I think, right on Central Avenue. Yeah. So here we are. We had the upper room like Jesus with his disciples, right in the upper room there. So we were a little more spiritual than the women. You know, we try to replicate. But yeah, here we are. I mean, John Shu, right in the front there, he ordered these wings and had no idea. The platter came out. The waiter was struggling under the weight of these things. We had a blast. So much fun over there. And we are looking to do another men's gathering. So probably at this point, we're probably looking into March with it. Anyone's interested in helping plan that, come see me because we will be having another men's gathering soon. Then last year, we had a little break where we hadn't had any baby dedications in a while. But last year, about April or May, we dedicated 3 children. And these are parents who came forward and said, we want to dedicate our children to the path of Jesus. And we want this group, this community to support us on that journey. The parents came up, we prayed for them, we dedicated their children and said, we surrender them to Jesus. And together as a community, we're supporting this family in their journey of raising their children as followers of Jesus. Then, as Debbie mentioned, we would meet twice a month, typically, at Debbie's in Hawthorne for our community group. And I have a picture for us. I don't know if you remember this one. I dragged this one up.
Oh yeah, that's an old one, or not that old, but I don't know. That was last year, I guess. Yeah, we tried a virtual community group, but so we do community groups. Like I said earlier, the first and third Wednesday of every month at my house in Hawthorne. We meet at 7:00, and really, I find community group really is just a great time for. This is going to sound redundant, but community. I mean, this is the time for me, at least, where I really feel like we get to know each other. We talk about each other's lives. What's happening. These are really where kind of those deeper relationships are formed. We support each other. We pray for each other. We pray for the rest of the church. And so that relationship building really happens at community group. And then we also get to talk a little bit about the sermon from the week before. So there's that spiritual growth that's involved as well. Really get to dig deeper into the sermon, go, a couple extra layers in there. So I find community group really is important for those two things, like really just relationship building with each other, supporting each other, and getting just a little bit extra into the sermons. So it's a good time. So you all should join us. We're meeting this Wednesday.
You don't have to go every single week. You
Oh yeah, you can come and go. Yeah, it's not like once you're joined, that's it. You're roped in for life. No, you come when you can, and you're always welcome.
Thank you. Then we did mention the monthly prayer times that we started last year, and Jessica's going to talk about that.
Okay, I hope you don't mind. I wrote my notes down on paper. So Awaken's prayer meeting is held in the morning on the second Wednesday of the month. During this time, we take turns praying for the needs of the church and its community. When we meet, we update the prayer list with new requests, share updates on existing prayers, and give thanks for answered prayers. Over the past few months, this time has become important to me for several reasons. Prayer helps me draw closer to God, and praying together helps me draw closer to my fellow believers. Praying together lets us encourage, support, and challenge each other. We all have needs and struggles, and praying for others reassures us that we don't face our troubles alone. Praying together has given me perspective on what's happening in other people's lives, and it's shown me the places outside of myself where God is working. I'll admit that praying in front of others can feel uncomfortable for me, but there's no pressure to pray out loud, no judgment on whether you're saying the right words, so anyone here is welcome to join. I hope that many of you will find encouragement, hope, and support through the Awaken Prayer Ministry.
Thank you. Thank you. Then in September, we had our fall party, late summer party at the Murgowskis in White Plains with baptisms. And Jeanette's going to talk about that.
Sure. There you go. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So at the end of August, we met at Joe and Laura's beautiful backyard. It was so much fun. It was a potluck, so everyone brought some delicious food. The kids were playing games, and the sun was just beaming down at us. It was great weather. And at that barbecue, we also, well, 4 of us were able to get baptized. Before the baptisms, I was feeling so nervous. I shared with my very dear friend Mary that I felt unworthy. And she essentially reminded me that it was basically not about being the perfect human. It was about having Jesus meet me exactly where I am. So when the baptisms rolled all around and I was dipped under the water, I was overwhelmed with this unexplainable peace. And then when I came back up, I was overwhelmed with so much emotions. I wanted to cry, but the best part was that we were surrounded by so much love and joy. When I came back up, everyone was smiling, laughing, clapping, hugging, taking pictures and videos, and it was just such a joyous feeling. And I realized that that's exactly what this walk with Jesus is, right? This community and leading with love for others. And I'm so glad I can do this journey with my Awaken family.
Then last year we had something different, something new, blessing of the backpacks. As we entered into a new school year, we brought all the kids up here with their backpacks. We had the teachers come up as well. We prayed over them, prayed protection over them, prayed that they would be the presence of Jesus in their schools for the new year that was starting. And I think that's a tradition that we're going to carry over. So we will have that happen. Here's the picture. We will have that happen this year. And obviously our kids ministry is a huge part of Awaken. It's a huge area that we are investing in and want to continue investing in. Lois couldn't be here with us this morning. She was going to talk a bit about the kids ministry. I will give a plea for the kids ministry. We are looking for more teachers for our kids ministry. We currently have 3 teachers. We have an assistant who joins us every single week, Allison, the kids love her. She's a high schooler. She's here every week working with all the different teachers and the kids. The kids have gotten a chance to know her. If you have an interest in teaching, whether it's once a month, every other month, once a quarter, we would love to work you into that rotation just to help carry the weight of the teaching for all the teachers that we currently have. We do have a curriculum, so that is all put together for you. There's a template that you work off of. You don't have to create your own material. So if anyone is interested, or if you're watching this online, or you're listening to this because you couldn't be in person today, I'm talking to you, would love to have you come and help us out in our kids ministry. I know the teachers love it. They always feel blessed that they get to work with the kids, and we are looking to continue investing in this area, as we believe a family ministry is very important for the strength and stability of Awaken. Then we have our Christmas party that we had in December, which was in Elmsford. I hear Ford is the... I normally said Elmsford, but then I had a few people from Elmsford who corrected me every single time. So I'm getting that one right. Christmas party in Elmsford at the Italian American Club. Amazing time. We had our great little game that we played that's up on Instagram that I've used as a sermon illustration. If you haven't seen it, go on Instagram and check it out. And just food, friends, laughter, fun. Christmas, I mean, Santa showed up in the back corner under Christine's arm over there. I mean, what more could you ask for a Christmas party? And then, of course, we had our coffee mornings with our coffee baristas who I was talking to them yesterday, and there's another one we're talking about in a little bit. So stay tuned for that one. Some new ideas coming from our coffee baristas, but this is a huge part of what makes Awaken Awaken. And then we traveled to Harlem Grown, an organization that we have been partnering with, working with for many, many years now. We'll have a new date for this one coming up soon, sometime in the spring. We go down, we partner with the work that they're doing down in Harlem. We have our Stuff a Shirt, which is also an annual event. And look at that picture. I mean, look at the turnout. Many people tell me this is their favorite Sunday of the year. Like, Dave, we don't have to listen to you speak. We don't have to sit in a chair. We can hang out. We can move around. We can talk to other people. We got some music. We have coffee. And we stuffed, oh my goodness, I didn't even write the number. Was it 250? Was it 250 this year? So I think 300. 300 packed bags filled with T-shirts and toiletries that we donated to the Coachman Family Homeless Shelter in White Plains. So that will be in November again. And then Angel Tree, another event where we provide presents to children whose parents are incarcerated during the Christmas season. And we had 20 plus, I didn't see the final number. They actually took the website away, but we were at 20 plus children sponsored donations, presents given in the name of the parent. So that's another one that we always are involved in. Now, as we look ahead to 2026, as a board, we have decided upon 4 goals for this new year. First one is a financial goal. The goal of this is that we would have our offerings match our expenses. After the sermon portion of our service, we'll have our business portion where we present the budget. I'll talk a little bit more about our finances, where we are when we get into the budget, but that is our first goal of the year. And I'm happy to say that last year, 2025, was the first year in a while that our offerings outpaced our expenses. So huge thank you, and we're praying and hoping that that continues for this year and beyond. Second, we are continuing to focus on increasing Awaken's visibility. We've been saying this for a while. For Awaken to keep moving on, to keep growing and being stable, we need some numeric growth. We need to have people to help with where the church is going and building of it. So we are continuing to increase our visibility to let others know that Awaken exists. There's 4 ways we've highlighted. Number 1, our social media team. This was something that we started last year as well. This has been a huge win, a huge celebration. Jeanette and Mary have really been spearheading this one. If you look at the Instagram page, many of you have commented that it looks so much better than when I was managing it. I totally agree with that one. So they are still taking that and running with it. And it's a beautiful thing because now we can look back. So it's great for people to get a glimpse into Awaken if they don't know who we are, but also for us to look back and celebrate and remember all the things that we were involved in. I mentioned that one Instagram reel from the Christmas party. Then we have our Google Ads. We have different outreach events that we are exploring what that might look like. So more information as we continue thinking and praying through what this one might look like. And then also, this is your part. Community members spreading the word of Awaken. A couple ways you can do this. You can talk to other people about Awaken. There's a podcast I listen to, and they call it hitting someone in the mouth. So you can go hit someone in the mouth, which means you can go spread the word. You can go and let other people know, like, hey, here is the church that I belong to. Here's what we're up to. Would love to have you come check it out. Or also Google reviews. So if you want to leave us a Google review, I have a QR code on the screen here. And this is just a great way. Reviews obviously are a big way that people decide if they want to check something out, if they want to be a part of something. So would love all of your reviews about Awaken, about who we are, and how you've been blessed by the ministry of Awaken. There also will be a QR code on the back table and in the newsletter as well. Then our third goal for 2026 is building structure for sustainable growth. As we mentioned, we are looking to continue growing, and we need the foundation. We need the structure in place. So a few ways we're doing this is we are forming new teams, and Ray has graciously volunteered to lead up our events, fundraising team, and she's going to talk a little bit about that one.
Thank you, Dave. It is lopsided. I can see how you're looking at this. So if I scan back and forth, forgive me. So for those who don't know me, my name is Ray, and okay, are you okay? I thought he was like giving me oh, I see. Okay, sorry. So I have been a part of the Awaken family since 2015. Pastor Dave has performed our marriage ceremony in 2016, and he's also performed my baptism, as well as 2 baby dedications for my 2 children. As a matter of fact, there was a time in Awaken where there were new parents. There were just like 4 or 5 of us. We all gave birth in the same year. We were all pregnant at the same time. I remember when we were at Life to Be, the place across the street, there was a line of strollers and diaper bags just lining up in the back of the service. And we're all, rocking our kids when they were babies, and then they were eventually toddlers, and just running around, and we have to run after them. So that was really a special time in Awaken. So this goes in hand with, our events calendar. And what we're really excited to share is like the new events calendar. We're going to try to put everything up in advance for you. So every month we'll have an event. If you have any ideas in terms of what you want to participate in, what you want, please feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Dave. We're happy to help in any way. Even if you are not a family and you're just an individual, you want to do a night out on the town, feel free. Come to us. We're happy to put that on the calendar, spread the words, and get everyone to sign up to come out. So I hope that if you look at the calendar, which we don't have today, I hope that you see that every lunch, every gathering, every outreach on this calendar is a chance for us to connect, to grow our faith, and to create meaningful moments for our families and all of us. These are the spaces where our relationships are built, faith become real every day. So one of the things that have really mattered to me with being a part of Awaken is for us to grow our church ministry. So when Dave was talking about offering, I was, when I sat down with my husband and I to create a budget for our 2026 givings, we were very passionate about looking at the children ministry expenses and making sure that we at least cover that, and even more so than just covering it is continue to grow. Because I had realized that, all that time when I was rocking my kids up until COVID, because once COVID hit, we took a really long hiatus. The kids were listening. The kids had, this muscle memory of what church was. So we took a really long hiatus. And then in 2024, my son came to me and he said, Mom, I want to start going back to church. He was 7 years old. So like a year ago. And I was like, really? Do you remember church? Like, we had a conversation about it. And he didn't have, anything concrete to say about what he remembered about church. But then I just, came to realize that it was imprinted. It was a core memory for him to be a part of this Awaken family. And, for a 7-year-old to come to me and say, hey, I want to go back to church. It was a wake-up call for me, because we had gotten out of going to church because it was just easier, quite honestly. And those who know me for a little while, my husband works on Sundays, so I am solo, I'm by myself. So that was just a lot of excuse to say, you know what, it's easier for us to just stay home because we can prep for the following week. But my kid thinks otherwise. And so we've been coming regularly, except for illnesses. So we'll take a pause when that happens. And it's been the best thing. And that's important to me, to be able to sit here and then have the kids have a place where they can grow, where they can learn, and they can connect with other children and family that are having the same upbringing. So I hope that you look at the calendar and see more than just events. I hope that you see opportunities to show us, to be a part of something meaningful, and to invest in what God is doing here at Awaken Church. Thank you very much for listening and being here. Oh, yes.
And we'll be sharing the calendar and obviously all the events with, there's a lot of to be decided dates. So that will all come into focus as we move along in the year. But the goal really is to have different events every single month, whatever that might look like. There doesn't need to be a big event every month. It can be a lunch. It could be a gathering. Right through the idea out of a coffee bar in September as we're all gathering back together after the summer. So it can just be a low-key event here at the church, nothing crazy, but we just want events and opportunities for everyone to have a chance to connect, to talk, and get to know each other a little bit more. So huge thank you to Ray for taking that one and making sure that we stay committed to our focus of community here at Awaken. And I love this. Christmas caroling in December. We've talked about it for a while, and Ray's like, we're doing it this year. And then so along with that is, let's see here. Yes, here we are. So in building the structures, there's the volunteering need that we mentioned with the kids, greeting was set up as well. If anyone is interested in volunteering in any capacity, would love to have you help us out with all of that. And then one of the necessities that we realized with the snow from the past couple of weeks, we need a text messaging system so we can send out a blast if we're going to cancel service, reminders about like a women's gathering, men's gathering, Christmas caroling, whatever it happens to be. So we are in the process of working on that, and we'll let you know how you can sign up for all those text messaging updates in case we have to announce something, breaking news from Awaken. And then number 4, our fourth goal for 2026, creating opportunities for spiritual growth. We are going to continue investing in community group. And one of the other areas that we have spoken about is restarting our Bible study. We had this the beginning of last year. I think it went for about 6 months or so. And then we're trying to get that back up and running. So we're having conversations internally about how we're going to do that, what that's going to look like. If you do have an interest in being a part of a Bible study, please let me know. And we are working on making that possible. So those are the 4 goals for this year. And none of this is possible without you. We've been here now. I started Awaken 2010. in my apartment. Had the first event December of 2010. So this thing has been going for 15 years, and it wouldn't be possible without all of you. This morning, I forgot the soundboard and the computer at my house. I had to rush home to go get those. So I was late to the service. In my younger years, when I was starting Awaken, that would have totally frazzled me. It would have thrown me off, and I would have been all discombobulated. As I was driving, I didn't listen to any music, no podcast or anything as I was driving home to go get the soundboard that I neglected to bring with me. I realized this is the perfect illustration for this sermon. And my preaching mentor is like, you turn everything into an illustration. All of life is an illustration. Things will go awry. Things will not go the way in which you anticipate, not the way in which you expect. You're going to have to do more work on something. You're going to have to take a different road. You're going to have to pivot in some way. And the wisdom, the prayer is to remain calm through all of it and see it as an opportunity for growth. As I was driving back and forth, I realized it's going to be okay. Ted's here. And Elle's going to lead worship. Debbie will do announcements. Everyone is going to greet people. Mary will be here. My dad will be here greeting. Jeanette's doing her thing. Joe and Laura are set up. We're all in this thing together. We're all building this together. It's not about one person, two people. It's about all of us together. And I'm excited to see where this continues to grow. As I was thinking back on last year, I was reflecting, Ray mentioned it. I was reflecting back on all the different versions of Awaken. And Awaken has had many different versions. There's many different seasons of this church. Everyone is different. Everyone is beautiful in its own way. And I firmly believe that we're entering into a new season of Awaken. I don't know what it looks like, but that's the joy of it. And together we'll create that. We'll commit to each other. We'll commit to this journey. And that's what church is all about.